Hi everyone, welcome back to the CH Tasting Room. It's Chris LaFleur and we are tasting some Coonawarra Cabernet Sauvignon today. I have a soft spot in my heart for Coonawarra Cabs because they are on Terra Rossa soil, and not only do I love saying that, it is important to winemaking. So Terra Rossa soils mean that there is a bed of limestone at the bottom, which allows for the grapes to get a little bit more balanced acidity. Limestone helps develop that. And then the top, the Rossa part of it, is clay that's mixed with a little bit of iron, so it takes on a little bit of a red tint as it oxidizes, hence Terra Rossa. Very beautiful to say, really cool to watch the vines grow in, and also makes for a great wine. Speaking of, let's talk about this. So, of course, when you think about Australia, you probably think about Shiraz, and that's not wrong, but there's lots of other grapes that grow there, and why should we forget about those in favor of just drinking Shiraz? Let's drink everything. This is definitely one to look out for too. Now, as we look at this, you can see it is somewhat developed. Along the side here, we're starting to get a garnet/orange note. So this is 5 years old, so that's beginning to show itself in the glass as such. And on the nose, oh boy, okay, I think we're not gonna spit this wine, I can already tell. This wine is showing a lot of red fruit. There's a little black, but this is primarily dominated by red fruit with like red cherries and red currants. There's also a note of red pepper here, which is probably from pyrazines, which normally give you kind of a green pepper element or a grassy minty note, but I think here have developed into red pepper, which is very unique. I would also say there's a little bit of wood here, some oak, but at the same time that I think it's a little bit new, it is very well integrated, so it lifts the other elements and doesn't seem to overpower it. There's also a sanguinity to this wine, which is a fancy way of saying it's a little bit iron driven. You can really smell the iron on this wine. There's so much going on here. Let's taste it together, and I think that'll settle us down. I was right, we're not gonna spit that one. It's very developed. So the red fruit really stands out still on the palate. So does the red pepper. It does have a jammier expression on the palate than it does on the nose. That's to be expected with the wine from such a warm region. And also you can taste a bit of the development. It begins to turn into a slight shrub style juice. Shrub is a little bit of vinegar or a little bit of activated acetic acid that gives you a little bit more of an aggressive feel on the palate. But it's very pleasant in the way it melds with this wine. The red pepper is still there, the red currants are still there, and the tannins on the top are beginning to feel a bit resolved. Normally when I taste tannin in a wine from Cabernet Sauvignon, it feels a little bit like chunky or chalky or coarse. This feels very smooth. So I would say, if you're gonna get this and put this in your cellar, which I thoroughly think you should, this is not a wine to lie down for too long. I'd say 3 months is gonna help with the bottle shock from transferring this wine from our home to yours. But I think that giving this too much more time is not gonna benefit it. So this is a wine to drink now. So where does this wine fit on your table? That's a really good question. Since in your cellar, you don't need to lie it down for too long. This isn't one to age, it's one to enjoy. I think that this is a wine to drink anytime. It's one to show to friends that like Cabernet Sauvignon but want something a little bit different. Of course, if you're having a Cabernet Sauvignon from a different region, you're staying off the beaten path, but still close enough to be familiar. So get a couple of these, not because you want to lay them down, but because it's so good you're going to want another bottle. And with that, I'll see you at the next glass.